Welcome, dive buddies. This is Scuba Goat Under the Sea, the podcast for the inquisitive diver.
Brendon, Liz, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning.
Very well, thank you.
What's been happening at your end of the world?
Well, we're currently based in Thailand, and fortunately, it's one of the better recovered countries regarding COVID-19. So we have been able to get about a little bit, which is really nice. So we've been making the best use of our time, trying to drive certain campaigns that we feel are really important and that we can try actually have an impact. Something positive during the time of COVID-19 was to do something really nice and to achieve something wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. Just before, because I'm going to ask you about the petitions for sure. But just before that, for those people that will be listening to the podcast that aren't aware what Shark Guardian is, can you just give us a bit of a background on how it's all started and how you've got to where you are now?
Sure. Would you like to start?
I'll start, yeah. I mean, to summarise, we're a UK charity, but as I say, based in Thailand right now. We became a charity in 2013, but Shark Guardian has kind of been in the works for way more longer than that, isn't it? And you actually started going into schools around, I think it was 2010, 2011. We first went to some schools in Bangkok. But we met in 2009, wasn't it? And that, when we met, Brendon was already talking about sharks and all the kind of expeditions he'd been on. So sharks were obviously a massive part of his life, and he used that to woo me to, on a night out. So that was kind of how it started for us. But long before that, you were fascinated by sharks. At that point, I really didn't know anything about them. I'd just become a scuba diving instructor. You don't always know lots about the oceans at that point, and I had no idea what was happening to sharks specifically. I was learning a lot about the oceans struggling, and the higher level predator, higher level food chain fish that were all disappearing. And then I learned what was happening with sharks, and I was just amazed that could be going on, and people had no idea what was going on with it. Hence why then we collaborated, and kind of Shark Guardian emerged from that, didn't it? But
correct, yeah.
Way before that, you were.
Yeah, before that, I was doing a lot of stuff with sharks anyway. But ultimately, so Shark Guardian, in a nutshell, we have 4 arms of operation. We have conservation, education, research, and dive expeditions. And to summarize each one of those, in terms of conservation, we run campaigns to many different things, such as running petitions, campaigning for certain regulation changes, protecting sharks, looking at providing information for marine protected areas, and so on. So that covers the conservation side. In terms of education, we do, as Liz was saying, we actually do a lot of work with schools around the world by going in personally to give presentations about sharks, or during this time, we've also been looking at exploring a lot more options of doing virtual presentations or attracting wider audiences online. Mm-hmm. We've also published some really amazing children's books about sharks. So we have some education materials as well, some of which can be downloaded off our site.
Some of those you send out free to schools as well, don't you?
That's correct. Yeah, we do. So we organized a fundraiser to get these books produced. And then we had a certain number of them that we have for free to give out to schools anywhere around the world. So we do say that, if anybody does have any contacts in schools or they'd like to get a copy of these books, just to send us an email and we'll get those books to the school libraries as soon as we can.
That's both books. So both books were funded, so we can donate them, as well as people can buy them as well. We have extra for that. And then we had the first book translated to Thai. So that's a big project to donate books to schools. And actually, that's a project that we're going to be working on over these coming months, which we can maybe talk about separately later.
Yeah. And we're in the process also of translating the books into as many languages as possible and have them available as ebooks to download through Amazon and various other sources. So that covers the education side of things.
Apart from the Shark Guardian Diver program, so with our dive centres around the world that support us, it's only those dive centres that can run a special program that they learn more about us, but take part in research while doing snorkeling and diving alongside their courses generally. So that's another way that we're spreading the education far and wide.
Yeah, we're looking to expand the diver programs to come up with certain specialized programs and courses that people can learn more about sharks while diving. So we're looking to expand the diver education category when it comes to sharks, which is going to be really exciting, very awesome, actually.
Is that going through a particular agency, or is it something that you're doing standalone?
No, we want to do it standalone, and it's a really good point you bring up there, Matt, because we do get that question quite often. And I think that the main reason why we want to do it as a standalone thing is we don't want it to limit our education just to one particular organization. We want to make sure that it isn't focused to only one organization and their followers and their divers. We want to make sure it's available to absolutely anybody. So whether it's a BSAC dive center in the UK, whether it's any other agency located anywhere in the world, we don't want to limit their option to have more education about sharks in any way. So we want to keep it as a standalone Shark Guardian program.
Yeah. Something you've been wanting to do for a long, long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have all these goals that obviously constantly change throughout the year when we assess where we're going, what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
But we'll certainly get there one day because we're gradually ticking
the
boxes.
And it's also nice, as we're talking about the education, we are growing our educational team. So I'm in the process right now of creating more presentations and building a team. I think we have up to about 14 or 15 people right now. And these are individuals who are, some of them are novice divers, some of them are professional divers, but they all have a great passion for sharks. And what we're doing is we're going to be developing these programs and these presentations and modules together as a team. So we're bringing in resources from not just myself, it's from a range of different people. Everybody has a way of inputting some of their ideas and focus and education into this. So we can be able to, as a team, build these programs up to a very high quality and standard. So it's very exciting. And
it's also because obviously from the beginning, so 2013, when we really threw ourselves into Shark Guardian and hit the road and presented to almost 30,000 people in that first year alone, it's been Brendon and myself doing absolutely everything. At that
how many did 30,000?
Yeah. Because we just kind of hit the road and we were sleeping on people's bedrooms floors and taking night buses at stupid times to get to places and doing the social media when we got in, and it was just using our money at that point because we had no way of funding. And that's when we saw that we had something special, and then we became in demand. It's always a snowball effect. If you've got something good, but then it was like, oh, come over here to Hong Kong. Okay, I'll come over here to Kinabalu, wasn't it? And we just that was enough to
spread.
A lot.
Run around like headless chickens.
So it's important to have other people to deliver the presentations, and also that means we can reach more people at any given time. It's not just limited to our time and ability and money. It is throughout the world. So that's really exciting.
So especially moving forward with a bigger team, we'll be looking at targeting anything between 100 to 200,000 people a year at a minimum.
Our goal. That's next year. We're going to go for 100,000, and after that, it's going to get bigger. So you've heard this said here.
Okay. And obviously in the current climate, that's why you mentioned that you're looking at webinars and that kind of elements,
Absolutely. And I think that also our audience reach will also be significantly greater that way too, I think. So what we find a little bit challenging is being able to access schools and to get onto their networks to target students, because right now schools are, they themselves are just trying to make sense out of this whole new normal and how to reach kids. So we're kind of waiting until they put their structures in place, and then we'll be looking at how do we get onto their networks and actually give presentations to kids in their classrooms that are virtually taking place and so on. So we're getting there slowly.
Yeah. And is there a particular age range that you're looking at, or are you doing the full spectrum of kids, I mean?
We do full spectrum. Liz normally takes care of the little ones, which is between the 4 to 6 year old, because
they scare him.
They scare me.
They scare you. I was going to say you probably scare them the size of you.
The older ones, you're happy to hang out and be okay with.
So the primary to high school to university level, that's kind of more my comfort zone area. But otherwise, yes, no, we do a full spectrum. With the little ones, Liz gets on with the baby shark song and doing some of the other cool fun stuff.
Yeah.
But primarily we'll be focusing on primary to start with. It's always easier to get into the primary schools. Obviously, the secondaries have a lot more going on. Again, we don't know what it's going to be come when schools are back in. Is that a doorbell?
So what's going on at the moment? I know we've got Swim for Sharks just around the corner sometime this month, isn't it?
Next week.
Next week?
Isn't it? Yeah, we're heading to Kotal next Wednesday, and the kids' event is on the Friday, and then the full adult swim is on the Saturday. So Swim for Sharks is a yearly event run by Big Blue on Kotal, or Big Blue has generally been the lead dive centre organising it, and lots of businesses and organisations and groups get involved. It's just a wonderful community event to raise awareness of sharks and do this fantastic fundraising swim. And we're so glad it's going on because, it's a highlight of the year for a lot of people because they want to beat their times and there's
some people we know that actually physically train all year round just to take part in this Swim for Sharks, which is it's a 3 point something kilometer swim around this one little island that they do it for, and everybody loves it, and all the businesses get involved. They donate some amazing prizes for raffles. In the evening it gets really exciting. Some people shave their heads for sharks, or they get like a little tattoo. I'm not doing that.
I've done it, but I didn't have much to lose anyway. So.
Did you do the swim, Matt, as well? Did you do the swim?
No, I didn't do the swim. I was one of the guys that helped organise on the boats and all that kind of stuff. But I did do. Obviously, now living in Australia, it's a bit difficult to get to Thailand. But last year, I did do the distance in the local pool here, just as a little tag on. It's actually 3.4 kilometres.
That's it. Yeah.
And for those people that have no clue what we're talking about, but Koh Tao has a little island next to it, or 2 islands next to it, called Nang Yuang, and it's a race around the island swimming. So some people, like Brendon says, take it very, very seriously. We know one guy that's in the Cayman Islands that has won it once at last, after having been beaten by an old man and a young child at some point. But there's also the fun event as well. So many people use mask and snorkel and fins and do it, all in the name of supporting Shark Guardian and raising awareness of the fantastic work that you guys do. And I'm sure you'll probably have a few beers in the evening next week as well, Brendon?
Absolutely, for sure,
And it's cool now because, like last year, Olivia, our oldest daughter, so she's 5 now, so 4 last year, she did the kids swim last year, didn't she?
Really?
So that just happens in the swimming pool, and they just do little games and different things. But it's nice that she's emerging into it and taking part, and we do a little presentation to the kids and the adults, and that it was really, that stepped up a level last year as well, like more educational, and everyone just understands more what's going on. So who knows, in a few years maybe she'll be doing the big swim as well. Some young kids almost ready to do the big swim, definitely, as well.
Well, I did see as well on social media a few days ago that the tattoo artist Pui is going to be at Big Blue, and he's giving people the tattoo of the logo for this year's Swim for Sharks.
They always have a different design each year, don't they?
It's crazy, yeah.
Or has it been? Is it actually been a shark each year? There's like a little bit more of the shark that they add on.
No, it is it's just a different shark design each year. I think it is.
But this year it's the logo, is it? I've not heard.
Yeah. So the logo that they've got going at the moment, advertising Swim for Sharks, is what Pui's going to be tattooing on people that want to, just to raise money. But you can have a load of people running around with a Swim for Sharks tattoos with a hangover the following morning, I think. Okay, so that's the fun bit that's coming up that you're really going to enjoy, and I'll be quite envious of sitting here in the cold in Sydney. So let's have a look at something else that's been going on, and one of the big things that you guys have been pushing for the last couple of months now is the petition that you've raised with the UK government. Brendon, do you want to give us a bit of a background on that one?
Yeah, sure. So in a nutshell, it is completely legal for anybody, let's say hypothetically somebody is a businessman and he's coming from somewhere in Asia, lands in the UK, London or any other major airport. And basically that person is allowed to legally bring in 20 kilograms of shark fin and doesn't have to declare it. You can just walk right through customs. There's nothing wrong about it to the UK law. It falls under a category that says you're allowed to bring in 20 kilograms of any kind of fish products. And at the same time, you're not allowed to bring in any kind of dairy. So I can't even bring in a bottle of milk for my daughter. I can't bring in even 100 grams of nice beef or anything like that, or cheese or anything like that.
Well.
But I can bring in a bag of 20 kilograms of shark fin.
But you can't even get on the plane at the start of the journey with a half-liter open bottle of water.
No.
Water.
No. So, and to put that into perspective, right, we've been trying to come up with a number, but we believe that it's, 20 kilograms of shark fin would, depending on the size of the fin, of course, that's somewhere between 7 to 15 sharks that are killed to accumulate that 20 kilograms of shark fin.
Yeah.
And that is per person.
That's ridiculous.
That's not per family, it's per person. So what if in one day, 10 people are walking in to the UK with a 20 kilogram of shark fin? That's, 200 kilos. And then, just exponential that. And it's just, it's insane that it's allowed. And that's classed under, that's personal consumption.
Yeah.
So this is what the petition is. We're trying to stop this loophole. Now, the UK does follow regulations by CITES, which is the Convention of International Trade of Endangered Species. And we have already got a response from the government because the petition has passed the first goal of getting 10,000 signatures. And they have openly expressed their interest for shark conservation protocols, that they're following CITES and so on. But our argument to that is, if I walk into the UK with a 20 kilogram bag full of shark fin, how does the UK Border Force agent there know that I don't have a shark fin from an endangered species like a hammerhead, or a whale shark? Because I'm not declaring it, so they're not even opening it back. So how do they control that? Yeah. And if I am doing that is actually illegal. So there's a massive loophole. So they're trying to say that, oh no, we're in support of sustainable shark finning and we follow CITES. Well, actually you're not, because if you're not requiring people to declare the shark fin, you're not checking it, they're not following that protocol. So it is a massive problem. It is, we have identified a very big loophole. So instead of them trying to come up with a way of, how are they going to educate thousands of border control agents to identify the difference between this fin comes from a hammerhead, that fin comes from this, or this fin comes from that species? They won't be able to do that. Yeah. So isn't it just a lot simpler and easier just to say no shark fin, nothing, no shark product? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to say, look, it's so easy. All you have to do is say no shark. No, it can't be shark. That's it.
And let's be brutally honest, that it's only a cultural thing that people eat shark fin anyway.
Exactly.
The only thing that springs to mind for me right now is anyone that's going to be going into the UK that will be carrying shark fin will be someone from the Chinese from the Chinese culture that is possibly going to a wedding so that they can produce the soup to look as though they've got lots of money.
Sure.
All restaurants, isn't it? You know, all major cities have a big Chinatown where there is a lot of shark fin restaurants. We don't know numbers, and it's not as big as, somewhere like Singapore, for example, where it's huge, or Thailand, massive, Bangkok. But that's possibly where it's going as well, because there's not so many sharks around UK waters, and there are finning laws to prevent it. So it might be an easy way for some people if they're traveling. So
if I had a restaurant, I could just tell, 10 of my friends, when you come through, please bring me a 20 kilogram of shark fin with you. And there's nothing the Border Force will do about it, because to them it's legal.
It'd be wonderful to understand who brings it in and what's the chain. It's very difficult because, again, you don't have to declare it. So there's probably a lot more that comes through than you realise.
And that's a difficult thing too, because a lot of people have been asking us, well, where's the data? How do we know? It's like, well, there isn't any, because first of all, if you don't have to declare it, there's no recording, so they don't know. So obviously, I think there highlights a lot of need for this petition to take place. And and that's what we've been really pushing the last couple of months. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you with figures at the moment? Do you know how many signatures you've got?
Yeah, I checked this morning, and I think from yesterday to today, it's gone up a couple of hundred signatures. I think about almost 500 now. So we're up to 18,000, close to 400 and something. I think we're all very close to that. So we have to reach 100,000 signatures by the 11th of September. And
why is that? That's obviously a UK legislation thing, is it?
Yeah, because the petition is being hosted directly with the UK government website. They only last 6 months.
Okay.
And the petition wasn't actually started by us. It was actually started by a private citizen. And by the time that we were notified that this petition had taken place, we already lost 2 months on it.
Right.
So we were a little bit late getting onto the petition.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the other interesting thing. This is not the first time this petition has taken place either. There was a previous petition, and it did reach about 16,000 signatures the first time round.
Mm.
And the UK government responded that, again, although they highly support shark conservation and looking at making the UK more environmentally friendly when it comes to shark fin and imports, they couldn't do anything at that time because they were still bound by European regulations and laws as part of Europe.
Right.
But then, of course, after Brexit happened, now there was more flexibility for the UK government to do something more specifically about this issue. So that's why the petition was launched again.
Yeah.
So that's where we are right now.
Okay. And the downside being that the only people who can sign a petition are UK residents, yeah?
That's right, yeah. So you have to be a UK national resident to sign this particular petition. And that is the only the only restriction. I guess if it was open to everybody, it would be a lot more. But at the same time, we can also understand that if the UK government wants to take this seriously, and they are looking into this right now, then it has to be UK nationals to sign it. And we understand that, but it does make it a little bit harder to get that petition out to just target UK nationals. But fortunately, as working in the diving industry, we do know there's a lot of people from the UK who are expats that work abroad, especially in the diving industry. So we are utilizing that. And I think the main thing is that people from the UK, they share it, do direct messages to friends and family, share it on your own profiles, get your family and friends back home in the UK to sign and share it. And that's going to be the key message. Yeah,
for sure.
And also, if people are not UK nationals, please just share it anyway, because more than likely, even if you're not a UK national, I'm not a UK national, I can't even sign it. So but I have been able to share it and get all my network of UK friends and family to do it.
Yeah.
So even if you can't sign it yourself, you can still do a lot more.
Yeah. So that deadline is what date in September?
The 11th of September.
11th of September. We have to get busy on social media then, don't we?
Yeah. So every day. Yesterday, I actually had permission from Paddy Asia Pacific to post the petition on their main Facebook page. So I did that yesterday. So that was really great. And of course, they have a great following. So we're going to be doing that. Today, I'm actually going to be trying to have contact with BSAC, so the British Sub-Aqua Club in the UK. And I'm going to try and make sure that they get onto it as well, because obviously being UK-based agency, they would be influential in getting the extra numbers for us. So I'm contacting them today.
Oh, good luck with that one.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
What else have we got? It's Galapagos, the Chinese fleet. I feel like I'm picking on the Chinese here. I'm not. It's just they're doing everything wrong right now.
Yeah, it's a tricky area, isn't it? That Brendon can actually say it all a lot more clearer than I can. You've been following it a lot closer, haven't you?
A little bit, yeah. We actually have a campaign leaders. So we have a girl in the UK. Her name is Katie, and she's been our campaign leader for the UK petition. Mm-hmm. And then we also have Harriet, and she's our social media manager, and she's the one who's really been on the story of Galapagos and writing up the blogs and the issues related to that. So basically what it is that not that long ago, it came to headlines that there was a massive fleet of 260 something boats surrounding the Galapagos, and they were sitting just on the edge of the no fishing zone around the Galapagos. And obviously it made big headlines.
Yeah.
And that's also because that about a year ago, there was a fishing vessel that was caught that had hundreds of tons of shark fin and mantas and all kinds of flora and fauna on that boat that was illegally fishing within that zone. So to have this many boats surrounding that area, and there is a satellite image, and if you look at it, it's crazy. You see the perfect circle of the protected zone, and you just see this massive fishing fleet just on the edge, like it's just like pre-invasion kind of thing. So then, of course, it became a media attention. There is fear that these fishing vessels are long lining and catching lots of sharks. There has been a lot of pollution washing up on beaches in Ecuador and the Galapagos with plastic bottles and a lot of plastic, all with Chinese writing on them, like coming from these vessels. So not only are they're fishing anything that passes through there, but they're also polluting the area at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I think that a lot of people sometimes don't always understand is that sharks and mantas, they don't know our fictional borders. To them it's just ocean, so they swim wherever. So they don't understand that, oh no, if I stay in this circle it's safe, and I go out that circle it's danger. They don't know that. So to some sense, these marine protected areas don't really mean much when it comes to hypothetical borders or crossings, because unless they protect an entire region or zone or even ocean segment, it doesn't really make much difference if you protect these islands and let's say an X amount of kilometers from these islands is safe and anything out there is open to anybody. It doesn't really mean much, does it?
Yeah. There was something similar to this years ago in Indonesia, wasn't there? Where the mantas were migrating between 2 points, and both points were protected, but the bits in between were not.
Correct, yes.
And then the Indonesians actually, well, whoever it was, raised the issue, and then they combined the whole thing so that it's all blocked out. You can't fish it full stop.
And this is where research is so important, because it was from the research that a couple of manta organisations did that proved that the mantas were migrating between the different areas in Indonesia. So you have to stop what's happening in the middle. There's places around the world that the same thing needs to happen. Yes, there are. There's the Convention for International Migratory Species.
Yes.
What's that? What is the
Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species, or the Migration of Endangered Species?
Migration of Endangered Species.
Right, yes.
So there's another organisation that monitors that, and they are doing a lot more to try and protect the bits that are in between. But ultimately, fishing boats, fishing methods are so good these days that it's very, very difficult to protect any of these migratory species. So and again, this is what's worrying around Galapagos. You've got so many amazing species, rare species. It's
many endangered species.
Endangered species. You've got places where whale sharks are seen, pregnant whale sharks, huge female whale sharks. There's so much research going on there, and that's the worry. And obviously, we're going to think the worst when you see that many fishing boats just along that line. It just doesn't make sense. So
I was diving there last year. Sensational location. And we're back there again,
place, isn't it?
Hopefully with, get this COVID stuff out of the way. But October next year, we've got an expedition there. So I'm looking forward to it. But at the same time, at the moment, I'm actually quite scared to see what the difference is going to be with all those boats out there.
I think it was yesterday, there was an update. The Chinese government did respond. If you look at our website, there is a blog that says update. And the Chinese government has responded that from September to November, they will be ceasing all activity within the area. And if the Ecuador government does see any illegal fishing, they are to inform the Chinese government, and they will take severe action. So there has finally been some response from the Chinese government regarding this.
Do you actually believe them though?
I'm not
so sure.
I don't know. I tend to not believe very much. I mean, the other interesting thing, I was speaking to somebody else last night who suggested that the media may have also exploited the Chinese fleet and and have been very quick to judge what their intentions are there.
Because of past history.
Because of past history, because they have been caught illegally with a lot of sharks. So there is a suggestion that these fishing boats are nothing more than squid boats. But the thing is, though, and so my question was, well, why would they be fishing just for squid just in that spot? Why? I mean, there's such a big ocean in the Pacific, you can go anywhere. Why are they specifically there? And it was suggested that, well, maybe it's because of the spawning of squid. I was like, really?
Yeah.
So maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. And they say that these boats are physically incapable of catching anything else but squid. But who knows? And I think that there is another article that has suggested that these boats are squid. But hopefully within the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll probably hear more. And we'll see what happens regarding that particular news. So yeah, let's.
Well, to be fair, if the Chinese fishing fleet and the Chinese government wanted to prove something as simple as being a fishing vessel for squid, they just let people on to have a look at what they've got. It's not like you're going to be able to hide, 5 miles of fishing line with a couple of thousand hooks on it, is it?
No, exactly.
And you're going to need a hell of a lot of light bulbs to catch some squid. So if you've not got any light bulbs and you load of big hooks, there's a little bit of porky pies going on there.
Exactly. So so basically, I'm saying, look, I'd love to see more evidence suggesting these statements, but again, he said, or the contact I have said that you'll probably have something more significant to explain within the next 48 to 30, the 24 to 38 hours.
Okay.
He has,
and that's what you have to do. And we have our goal researching it, keeping an eye on all the news. We don't just straight away blast the news. You have to be very careful these days, and we want to be a reputable, organisation. So, and if anything changes, we're not going to post anything until we have fact. But you're relying on fact from sources, aren't you, in the government around the world?
And of course, sources can also be wrong. So again, if something changes, we will post an update. The other thing I was told, which is interesting. Yeah, it was just this is just fact.
Be careful when you get sources and you get stuff that's not been published yet.
This is just fact, and 70% of the world's squid is caught by the Chinese fishing.
70%.
70%, yeah.
70% of the world.
In fact, a third of their accounts or the money of the Chinese fishing fleet is based on squid catches. Which is very interesting. So there might be some truth to it, but again, we don't know. We're still waiting to see the evidence.
Yeah, but they could also be very large squid with very large fins.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if
but you've got to stay the right side of the political fence. I can say what I want.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, if the Japanese can send a massive boat killing thousands of whales a year with a big sign on the boat that says research, I mean, who's to say that certain boats from a certain country aren't saying we're fishing squid and they're catching something else?
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
Again, let's hope it gets sorted and ironed out soon.
Yeah. I hope they do. I really do. Well, in other news, what's happening with the kind of membership of Shark Guardian? I noticed on the website that we've got, possibilities that people can join and follow you guys.
Yes.
I mean, that's something that people for a long time, when they meet us, see us, we often get the response of, how do I join? What can I do? How can I get involved? And we wanted to have a membership scheme for quite a long time. We just kept going around in circles of what people actually wanted from being a member. But now it's kind of become more focused, as the charity board. It's just we're growing as an organisation, so it'd be nice to have options for people, and especially for students to continue being involved or even just linked with us, to have a regular email that maybe they are our next speaker in 5 years' time, or come on expeditions with us and take part in research. Which programs are live?
Sure. Well, first of all, there are so many different organizations that offer membership packs where they buy a package and they get a T-shirt and a wristband and they get little things. And we didn't want to just copy that. We wanted to have something that was more meaningful, that followed the staples that the charity is based on. So basically, if anybody wants to become a member, they can do that, but we want to make sure that we give something much more relevant back, rather than just a T-shirt and a certificate saying "well done," but you haven't done anything. You're just giving us some money. So we wanted to make sure that let's say so we're going to have a junior membership pack, right? So within that pack, we wanted to make sure that yes, they do get regular updates, but not just to the kids, but it has to go through the parents, and there's the resources. And they're going to have educational worksheets, workbooks, so where they're actually going to be learning something about sharks. And then they can take that stuff and they can take it to school and they can show friends and family and really have an impact that way. So we wanted to make sure that all the membership packs are based on education and based on awareness. And whoever becomes a member, they're going to receive the most up-to-date information regarding our most recent campaigns, how to get involved. Take these posters and go put them around in your local coffee shop, go put them in your school, go put them at your gym, your community. So that's how we're going to involve our members. We're going to make sure our members are active, they're educated, and they're aware of global issues, rather than just having a fancy thing to show.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
The basis of it all,
yeah. And just picking up on what Liz said there, the amount of times I've been asked, how do we get membership? It's I think there's a big queue knocking at your door, waiting to get in. Yeah, that's it, and it has taken us a while to get there. We want it to be right. We want it to be for it to be meaningful. We want to say, if you're a member, you got to be a true member. So it's got to have some real substance to it. So I think that's it. And a lot of people were throwing different ideas, comparing what other organizations are doing, and we're like, no, let's not just copy. Let's do something better, more meaningful, more substantial, and let's make sure that when people are becoming our members, they're proud to be it. They feel like, yes, we're getting the right information, the right stuff from this. Yeah, that's excellent. And is that live now, or is it in the not too distant future?
In the not too distant future. So right now, basically, we're going to have a junior membership for kids. We have a adult membership. We also have something that's called a international student ambassador. So this is different because this is where students will receive resources, materials from us that they can actually learn how to give their own presentation, that they can go and give a presentation in their school or their local community. So it's kind of like a Shark Guardian presentation that's been streamlined, that any student between the ages of 10 to 18 can use. And it comes with notes and some videos and some really great stuff. And so we're really excited about that. We're going to have a diver membership program. So apart from a few cool things that they get, they're also going to be getting information about how to get involved with research, which apps to download that provide information for research. So that's going to be really exciting.
That's awesome.
And then the resort membership as well.
That's right. And then we have two other memberships. So we have a dive center membership and a resort membership.
Okay.
And in a nutshell, the resort memberships, if they want to become members, they have to show us that they do not that all their food comes from sustainable resources, and that they certainly do not serve any type of shark products, as well as providing information in the resort. For dive centers, that they're taking part in all of those things, but also doing a lot more on the research and raising awareness with their divers and their students.
It's all exciting. And is that going to be, come on, give me a timeline. Is that going to be all up and running by the end of the year, or is it?
Oh, definitely before the end of the year.
Yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah, I would like to get everything up and ready by the end of September.
Yeah. Happy days. Yeah. So when it comes to the crunch of people wanting to join, then they do it through the website, or they got to contact you directly?
They can do it through the website. We're going to have a dedicated page for the memberships so people can log on and go through the different memberships, see the packs, and they can subscribe to those packages through there. We'll also be promoting them through the social media, so people can see it that way too. So
Okay, expeditions. Have you got time for this one, Liz?
Yeah, again, expeditions is obviously a little bit of a back burner. It's something we've wanted to grow for a long time, but our focus is education, and with what's happened with COVID and reassessing what the schools are doing, that has been our focus. And we wanted to grow the program anyway, as I said earlier, so we don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
So that is the priority of the next month: getting all the speakers ready, and getting the online programs ready. So that there's all that happening right now. But we need to do more diving. So when the world opens up, we're doing the sardine run. We did that for
Since 2016, so we did 2016, 17, and 18. Yeah,
we want to do that. We want to do more of that. You know, we've got contacts places, liveaboards, you know, in Indonesia, Malaysia. We'd love to do Galapagos, of course. I guess it's just priorities, and with us having a family, not easy just to pop off around the world to these different locations. But I guess it's watch this space. Once the stuff, you know, to the end of the year, we've got a lot going on. We've got a lot happening in Thailand, which I can talk about in a second as well. Once that's all in place and we've got more in the team around the world, you know, everything's running nicely, then we'll start seeing where the world has opened up and we can go and do some cool shark diving.
Yeah, I mean, I have some people asking already about doing the sardine run in 2021.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. I'm in contact right now to get something happening with a liveaboard up in Komodo again. We've done that before, so we really like to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start doing a few trips and expeditions here locally, like quite close by. Yeah. And then we're going to expand that as we go along. And we'll just see how things do shape again after COVID-19 and when borders reopen and traveling starts again. I think that right now everything is on a hiatus until that happens. Yeah. So we're a bit unsure where the next expeditions will be and how many people are going to want to travel after this. So right now it's very much in the air.
For sure. Well, I'll let you know, I have got a boat booked for next year in South Africa for the sardine run. My company, Nomadic Scuba, we've not mentioned yet, will donate $20 for every person that comes on any expeditions or trips that we do as well.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And
you'll also get either
an amazing trip, sardine run. So it has to be everyone's bucket list.
Yeah. Oh, it's a dream location, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. I don't know why you left South Africa, Brendon.
Well, it's nice to.
We say that every time we go back, but then you appreciate it. When we need to go back, so because we have a new child that family haven't seen in South Africa, so that's and they need to see some of their.
I mean, I still say now that if somebody asks me where is the best diving in the world, I still say South Africa, hands down.
Yeah.
But I think that unless you actually already have a very set up business with a good reputation, you have a really good network of people coming to you, it's very hard to break new businesses in South Africa. Yeah. The economy is struggling. The political situation is not great, but it is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Yeah. Nature, the marine life is insane. It's just absolutely amazing. And I think that when you get there, you can almost forget about the negative political and the economy side of things and just enjoy being there. It's really, really amazing. And I think that's kind of why I haven't lived there for such a long time, because certainly going back to visit and dive is amazing, but running a business or having influence in conservation world, it's easy to be abroad.
Yeah. I love the place. Absolutely sensational, above and below the water.
Yeah.
So we can't wait to go back, and hopefully 2021 allows us to do that again.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll be going diving, thankfully.
Yeah.
We'll meet you there.
So come on, Liz, tell me what's the gossip?
So exciting stuff that's happening. So as we've talked about the education, so for the rest of this year, again, given travel constraints that we're not going to be flying to different countries, because we've got all these books still in Thai, and that was from a project with an organisation called GVI. They have a base in Khao Lak, in Phang Na. So we're going to be going to local schools focusing on the Krabi province until the end of the year. So we've already got our first one lined up in a couple of weeks, and the aim is every week, if not every 2 weeks, we'll go to these schools. And it's just a very short presentation, introduction to the ocean and why we need sharks, and don't be scared of sharks or the oceans, and protecting the environment, trash, plastic, that could be a whole
the key
session in itself, So we're just trying to get, again, the next generation, especially in a country like Thailand where trash is a huge problem, inspired. And when we donate these books and the responses in the past, the kids have just absolutely loved them because it's something new and something different. And then next year, our plan is to take that a step further. Now, we've always had this big dream of getting a big van, painting it black, putting a shark fin on it, and traveling around Europe, traveling around UK, traveling around Europe, or wherever it takes us. But that's been in the pipeline we've talked about for a few years, and we were again talking about it to do a little test run this year in the UK, next year Europe. So things change, and we're like, we need to kind of leave a bit of a legacy here in Thailand. So early next year, we plan to do that in Thailand. So taking the education into places that would have never heard of us, linking up with schools, both international and local. Hopefully getting some restaurant, hotel, fin feed projects happening as well. That's something we'd like to encourage and link with it. And just giving away all these, few thousand books that we've got, and inspiring the kids to just look after the environment as well as the ocean. So watch this space about that, and we're going to get some kind of van if we can get the shark fin on it as well.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Well, you're literally going to have a shark fin on the roof, not just
that's the plan.
That's what we're
no, we're going to have a big, like, I don't know if you ever watched the Joel Schumacher Batman movie with the Batmobile with a big fin at the back. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
We've not researched that part yet, but we've started looking at vans and finances and routes, and it would just be the south of Thailand that we'll focus on.
Yeah.
Once we looked at the map, we were like, "Whoa, can't do that in a month." So we're going to give it a go, see what happens, and see what rolls from that, which will be very exciting. Actually, going to all these places that maybe you haven't even heard of sharks.
You'll have to blog it daily.
Yeah.
Follow the route.
That's the idea. Yeah, we're going to do like a vlog, like every day we're going to have like a video update telling people where we are, what we're doing, link up with other organizations in the area, and also, having some community events. So also out of school events. The other thing that we had an idea is that we could also have a big screen on the side of the van. We can set up a projector and we can do something outdoors, outside. Something that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
you can do it all dressed in your shark onesie.
Exactly.
It's going to be, proper hot, February, March.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we have to get this kind of
material,
breathable shark suit. Maybe we need shark hat. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like great fun.
But yeah, that's going to be an exciting thing.
Yeah. And you say we've got the books in Thai, and you do presentations in Thailand at the schools. Do you have anyone who speaks Thai that does the presentations and translations for you? Or?
Yeah, that's what we've got somebody who did some translation for us last year in the schools. So she's going to be working with us, so it's quite consistent. And we hope. I mean, we've got a girl in Bangkok who does some stuff for us, who can do the presentations in Thai. So one day we hopefully will have a couple of people here who continue to do it on a local level for us. That would be amazing.
That would be great, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how are we doing for time? I know you guys are getting a bit...
I think we've talked about all the different projects and the different areas. Not talked so much about research. I mean, we basically collaborate with some projects run by different scientists, all based around citizen science. So if you look at our website, there's lots of things that everybody can get involved with for monitoring shark populations, whale sharks and leopard sharks specifically. So that's something that's always happening. Oh, and we also started supporting a project at St Andrews University in Scotland in the UK last year. And that's going to be happening. More is going to be coming from that as well. So that was nice to start supporting a UK project as a UK charity.
What's that project then?
It's based around an endangered species of flapper skate. So it's an elasma branch. It's not a shark as such right now, but it's within a marine protected area that they've really hardly discovered because it's an endangered flapper skate. That has been their focus. So we decided to link with it because of, it's still an elasma branch. So sharks are from the same family. But there are other species within this marine protected area, including sharks. So we thought as a long-term project, it would be something to be involved with, as a positive side, and also, maybe have interns as part of it later on. It's also going to be becoming one of the, the Sylvia Earle Hope spots.
Oh, okay.
They've gone a bit quiet with those, but that's again linked and in the pipeline. So there's lots of stuff happening there, as any research project, especially linked with the university. Money, funding comes and goes. But it's a nice team there, and we're
and
excited
it's really
about
excited. And there's also an area in the south of the UK that we're looking at possibly getting registered as a shark protected area.
We're going to be looking into marine protected areas in the UK and how we can maybe be influencing those as well.
Okay.
You know, another thing with the petition is we've become more well known. Even though UK charity, we've not been known that side. You know, everything we've been done is in Asia, because that's where we've been living and working for a long time. So it's nice to hear things developing in the UK. So again, it's good to watch this space next year with things like that.
Yeah.
So we're busy, Matt.
Yeah, you're always busy. I've never known you not busy.
I know.
But it doesn't matter where people come from. It doesn't matter where the dive centres or resorts are in the world. They can actively get involved with Shark Guardian.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, our long-term plan is that we're going to have a regional base of Shark Guardian in different parts of the world. So we're going to have the European-based, UK and European-based. We already have somebody right now who is our representative for the Middle East and Africa. And we're looking to replicate those positions in a long term, have somebody based in Asia, in Australia, and the Americas. So we're looking at having a worldwide coordination of running our different projects and activities in all parts of the world, and to really grow our team of educators and expedition leaders. So that's kind of where we see ourselves in the long term, and continuing to push petitions, change legislations, and put laws into place to protect sharks everywhere in any way possible.
Guys, it's exciting talking to you. It always has been, right from the word go. From the first time I ever met you, and Liz tried to embarrass me for turning up late to one of your presentations. The passion you guys have for this is it's just phenomenal. It really is applaudable. Congratulations on everything that you do. Before we wrap things up, you know, the title of the show is Scuba Goat. So one quick question, and Brendon's already answered his, being South Africa. But Liz, where would you pick as your greatest of all time dive experience?
Well, again, South Africa, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But something that sticks in my head is when I first went to Komodo, and I'd only just done my advanced course with Scuba Junkie, actually, in Sipadan, and then I went to Indonesia and went to Komodo. So I still had less than 20 dives, and I did this dive where they were all excited before. They were, you know, looking at the not the GPS screen, you know, the fishing thing, and they're just saying, you know, there's so much activity, there's, you know, there's loads of stuff. Anyway, so there's dolphins, there's sharks, there's just the massive fish, you know, there's massive trevallies and that, but just to have the dolphins zooming around and these sharks just around and that just sticks. You know, I still say Komodo is certainly some of the best diving in the world. Yeah. But just South Africa has a different charm. I mean, it's so cold in South Africa. I was having to go up, you know, too early because I just was physically just so cold. It's too different, you know. That's my cold diving versus warm cold. Yeah, but that just has that memory, especially because it was early on in my dive career. So. In my opinion, you know, the greatest of all time for any individual. It's all based on your experience, your personal feelings about that location. And better way to hear about it, but from the horse's mouth, you know, I'm not calling you a horse, Liz, by the way. No, I mean, when you said Scuba Goat, I thought you were going to get us to do goat impressions.
Oh no. I've seen enough of your shark impressions and those hats and all that kind of stuff.
There's more to come.
Oh, dear me. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. And I look forward. Just let us know, or tell us how people can find you and how they can get in touch with you and how they can support Shark Guardian.
Well, you can find us via www.sharkguardian.org is the website. We are very active on social media, specifically with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So you can search us that way. This is the best way to get the most recent updates, news, and information. We are also doing some really interesting blogs at the moment through our website. And that's probably the best way to get in touch and keep up to date with our activities.
Awesome.
We have a web store where you can buy merchandise. So that's one of the biggest ways that we run the charity is by selling cool T-shirts and hats and whatever.
Some Shark Guardian gear.
Accessible from anywhere in the world. We do ship worldwide. So have a look on the website for that for sure.
And that's the important thing here. You guys are putting in 24/7 working on this project, but it is actually a charity, so it relies on donations from people. So if people want to show the support, they can do it directly. Indirectly, if you're going to go on holiday at some point, you can always book through Nomadic Scuba, and we will put $20 of every booking that we receive to Shark Guardian. So some of your money will be going to Shark Guardian whilst you're going on holiday. And we'll probably plug you for some more money while you're on holiday. Brendon, Liz, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll see you again on the podcast.
See you soon.
Cool.
This is Scuba Goat Under the Sea, the podcast for the inquisitive diver.